Now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit because I've had the flu, cold, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to try to give you guys the best video I can. By the way, this is video 1 of 3 today. We got one on LEILANI Simon. We have one on Richard Allen and Delphi. And we have one on Brian Kohlberger. Guys, hope everybody is doing well, especially after all these major storms. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. We're going to kick things off this morning with a LEILANI Simon story. And this one is big because the trial has begun. Let's go.
Bring it back.
Well, what's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time. Now, before we get started, let me first and foremost say thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Hell, any of my channels, regardless of platform and regardless of method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truth is, guys, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad. Big love to you guys. Appreciate you so much. If you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. We got a lot of interesting shit coming, so I will be giving you guys some live streams coming up here on this channel, and you can expect 2 or 3 videos per day from me with all of these trials starting and everything going on right now. The LEILANI Simon case, for you guys that don't know, this is a case that's been around for quite some time. It was one of the top 3 or, the earliest 3 or 4 cases that I covered in true crime. When it comes to this, we're talking about a very young little boy who ended up dead, and LEILANI Simon clearly got rid of the body. Now, the question is, did LEILANI Simon murder the child? I am not a believer that she did, if you want to know the truth. Do I believe that she disposed of the body? Yes. Do I believe she lied to the cops? Yes. But I believe this was a drug addict that neglected her child, and that child fell or something happened to this child that resulted in his death through neglect. And then this child, this young mother, got nervous, her and her boyfriend both. And we'll talk about that a little bit here today. But I hope you guys are all having a good one, man. Stay safe from this hurricane. I'm up here in western North Carolina, so I've been dealing with this hurricane, and I'll tell you, it's not nice. It's not nice at all. Guys, jury selection begins for the trial of Chatham County mother accused of killing son, Quentin Simon. Jury selection for the trial of LEILANI Simon, the Chatham County mother accused of killing her toddler Quentin and throwing his remains in a dumpster. It did begin on Wednesday. Both the prosecution and defense are tasked with selecting people for the jury. So, as you know, this is day 1. This is jury selection that they believe they might be able to sway their way. The jury will decide Simon's fate on that 19-count indictment, which accuses Simon of malice murder, felony murder, concealing the death of another, and making false statements. Now, I want to point something out. What I believe that she's guilty of is concealing the death of another and making false statements. I do not believe that she is guilty of murder at all. And we'll get to that maybe. And listen, when you charge someone with malice murder, you're charging them essentially with first-degree murder. You're charging them with premeditated and, like they say, malice murder of someone. Simon first reported Quentin missing on October 5th, 2022. That's how long we've been doing this. This was about a month before the Kohlberger case. In fact, we started covering this on an entirely different channel. The Chatham County Police Department, along with the FBI, launched a search for the toddler, and just a week later announced that they believed he was dead and that the mother was a primary suspect. This was a 6-week-long search where they did end up finding Quentin's remains in a landfill. Now, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of, kind of a crash course if you don't remember the case or don't know of the case. But to me, this is a pretty large, major case. But the trial has begun. I'm going to go ahead and go over some of these things with you. And then, of course, I'm going to give you my commentary. Let's go ahead and get on into this. Get your snack cakes and shit ready. Let's roll.
Weather team and our WTOC Weather Center as well. They're tracking the storm's latest movement.
It'll go right into it. Give it a second.
The latest updates coming up. But first, jury selection now underway in the LEILANI Simon trial. Thanks for joining us.
That's right.
News at 4. I'm Mike Seelan. The case, of course, gaining national attention after investigators charged the
That's
Chatham
right.
County mom with murdering her own 20-month-old toddler and then throwing his body in a dumpster.
Little Down syndrome looking
is
mom.
live at the Chatham County Courthouse with more on this Flynn jury
Here we
selection
go.
starting, and it's expected to take days.
Yeah, I would imagine it would
Mike,
take
that's right.
days.
Good afternoon. The official start to this trial comes just over 2 years since Simon's son Quentin was first reported missing today.
All the Tyrones coming out of court and shit.
Began the tedious and critical process of selecting jurors who will decide whether Simon is guilty or not guilty. There are more than 60 potential jurors for this trial. They have to get that number down to 12. Lawyers are asking them if they've seen any news coverage of the case, whether they listen.
Well, to be fair, of course they saw some news coverage of the case. I mean, this was one of them stories that made national attention, much like, and it's not as big as like the Idaho 4, and it's not as big as Delphi, but this was obviously caught my attention, and it caught all you snack packers, all you snack cake eaters that's in the audience as well, and I'll show you that. In this video, I will show you why I call you guys snack pack eaters, snack cake eaters. A lot of you guys are like, no, you're just a little hard on us. Some of us are fine, attractive, and thin. I'll show you why here in just a second.
Listen to true crime podcasts, and if they know someone who's been a victim of child or substance abuse, lawyers are then dismissing.
I'll show you in just a minute. Wait till you see some of them protesters out there. I'll be showing you soon.
This has been a widely reported on case. Some potential jurors raise their hand when asked if they form some sort of opinion about this case. Simon, for her part, was in court today, coming face to face with these potential jurors. She faces 19 counts.
19 counts.
Quentin's death, his disappearance led to
And that was a wild
multi-agency,
affidavit.
days-long search before his remains were found in a local landfill back in late
That was a wild one.
2022. Jury selection is set to take the rest of the week, the next couple of days, with the whole trial expected to last just around 2 weeks. We'll have more coverage of today's
2
jury
weeks.
selection coming up.
That's all they expect this trial to take? Jesus Christ. They're already ready to hammer the shit out of Leilani.
Later on the news this evening for another We're Live.
But I'm going to tell you why I don't think she'll be found guilty.
TLC News.
I'm going to give you a couple
Thanks, Flynn.
reasons.
You can also watch the trial once jury selection is over. That's expected to start next week. We're going to be streaming it live on WTOC++.
Oh.
We will continue to bring
They're going to be streaming the trial live next week on WTOC. Oh, well, goddamn. So will we. So will we. I didn't know they were going to stream this thing live. Yo, if they're streaming it live, motherfucker, we're streaming it live. So you guys will get to watch your first live stream court case with me next week, starting next week. And I guess I got to move my calendar around and shit because I'm not going to miss it. So let's go ahead and jump back in.
everything that happens throughout the next couple of weeks.
Well, let me tell you what did happen in the courtroom. 16 potential jurors have been dropped from the Leilani Simon case. Simon accused of killing her toddler's son back in October 2022. So after yesterday's, the first day of the trial, essentially jury selection, 16 jurors were dropped.
Jury selection is underway
There we
now
go.
for the trial of Savannah mom, LEILANI Simon, accused of killing her toddler son, Quentin. WJCL 22 News' Andy Cole has been covering the story from the start
16
and was
jurors
in court again
dropped.
today.
The trial of LEILANI Simon began Wednesday with jury selection. More than 60 potential jurors were brought
60
in and questioned
potential
by
jurors.
both sets of lawyers to determine who could ultimately decide if Simon is innocent or guilty. Cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom, but I was there for the entire
Because it's
7-hour
jury
process.
selection.
The day
The reason there's not cameras in there right now, obviously, is because it's jury selection. But at the end of the day, I didn't even realize they were going to be streaming this thing.
began with basic questions for
Like the
67
trial
jurors,
itself.
like, have you heard of this case?
I know
Do
that
you
Richard
anyone
Allen won't be
involved?
streamed.
Have you made up your mind about the guilt or innocence of the defendant? For the record, 9 potential jurors said they've already decided about LEILANI Simon. When individually questioned, one potential juror who claims to have been following the case since the beginning asked the prosecutor who else could have done it. There's no evidence that could convince me otherwise.
Oh, man.
That's the challenge for the state and defense.
Oh, man.
Finding potential jurors who either haven't heard of the case or, if they have, determine who amongst them could impartially
That's
serve
wild.
on a jury. Of the original 67 potential jurors,
That is
20
wild as
qualified
fuck.
and 16 others were dropped. The goal is to find
20.
50 qualified potential
20
jurors,
qualified,
so then the
16
lawyers
did
can
not.
whittle those down to just 12. A final motions hearing is scheduled for Thursday morning, followed by more jury selection on Friday.
all right.
We'll, of course, be there for every moment of it.
More jury selection on Friday. So, yeah, I will. Obviously, today is Friday, correct? Today's Thursday. So, I will keep you guys posted on all this, guys. And I'm going to be honest with you. Over here on Court TV, they have a really good kind of mini documentary on it. Vinnie Pollin investigates the death of little Quentin Simon. But I want to show you guys something, because in the beginning of this, he gives you kind of a breakdown of everything that's kind of led to this point. We're not going to watch the whole 43 minutes, obviously. But I want to show you why I say the true crime community is snack pack eaters, plus you get to see the Quentin Simon story. Let's just go ahead and take a look. Come on, it's coming. Hurry up, dickhead.
Georgia named Quentin Simon.
I want you to see this when he starts
now,
to break this down.
Once you see a picture of this little guy, you will wonder how anyone could bring harm to him.
He's really good at his job,
did.
though.
Here's his story. 20-month-old Quentin Simon was living with his grandparents, his mother Leilani, and her boyfriend.
I will give
on
you
October
guys,
5th,
like I said,
2022 at 9:40 a.m.
like my commentary on this whole situation in a minute.
To report this little boy missing. The investigation began as a missing persons case. Was this an abducted child? Did little Quentin sneak away into the nearby woods? Soon, the investigation would change. It became a homicide investigation, with Quentin's mom as the prime suspect. Then the true crime community spotlight started to shine on Leilani and her family.
Show me one motherfucking thin one. This is the way I visualize all you true crime community women. Look, this right here. Come on, man. Come on, man. Look at the fuck. This is how I visualize all of you. All of you look just like this chick in blue right here. I'm just being honest with you, man. You know, so when I'm sitting here talking about you guys sitting at home on your couch with Reese cup oozing out of your pores, that's what I visualize y'all as. That right there, what you just saw, that's your true crime woman. The woman that, while their husbands are off at work, is just sitting there gorging themselves honey bun after honey bun after honey bun. Trying to tell us what they fucking don't. You know what I'm saying? JB, you don't get it, do you? You don't understand the law. Oh, I don't understand the law. The guy that's been through it 1,000,000 times. But you somehow have taken a break from all your different hostesses snacks to somehow study the law. I've spent time in the law library. Have you? I've studied case law. Have you? No. The only thing you won't even study the goddamn ingredients list and the caloric intake that you're taking on the back of them goddamn honey buns or snack cakes or whatever the fuck they are. Cupcakes. I'm just being honest. Now let's go ahead and check this out so you get the rest of the story.
Protesters began to gather outside of
Show me the thin one. Can we stop it? The only thin one is maybe this little girl over here coloring on the goddamn car.
Home, demanding answers and making accusations. The police investigation continued and led to an expansive search of a landfill.
And you don't get to count the YouTubers as them. You don't get to count people like Grizzly True Crime and say, well, there's a thin one. Yeah, but she's actually working. She's not one of you shoving. She's not one of you. What about 10 to life or 15 to life or whatever Annie, what her name is? Well, because she's working. She's not one of you. I'm just being honest. If you guys want to disprove my theory, just go ahead and send all your pictures to thejbgunner@gmail.com. I'm just saying, and I'll let you know if you have broken my theory. But chances are none of you will send them because you know I'm right. It's all right. Fat women give good head. I ain't worried about it. Anyway, let's go.
Eventually, remains of Quentin were found. Leilani was arrested, locked up, and charged with his murder.
That's
and
right.
now a jury and the public will hear the evidence that hopefully answers all those questions about what happened to little Quentin
And
Simon.
we're going to talk about this. We are going to talk about what happened to little Quentin Simon. Okay? So, my theory with all of this is that either the boyfriend did it, which I doubt that to be the case, or the mother, or the wife, the mother, Leilani Simon, an accident happened and they tried to cover up the death. They tried to dispose of the body because they didn't want to get in trouble. They're young. Leilani Simon was on probation for theft. She was a drug addict, a dope fiend, like many of you. I'm not a dope fiend, JB. The cream feeling is kind of like a drug. Just skinny people use cocaine. You snort up cream filling. You just, and then you start getting that damn sugar rush and shit. Oh, no, it's all the same. It's all the same. Anyways, so what I think happened is that there was an incident, and I think the child died by accident, and they tried to cover up the death. I think child neglect led to murder. So, in my opinion, there needs to be involuntary manslaughter. I don't understand why they didn't charge her with that. Because during that documentary, if you go back and you look at the PCA, they say an unknown method of death. So these people don't even really know how the child was killed. But here's also a situation, okay? This is why I think for sure both Leilani Simon and the boyfriend who's not being charged, and that might be because he's turning state, so I may be completely wrong here. Leilani Simon, they're saying, dumped the body. They went to the dumpster the night before at 1:30 a.m. 5:45, Leilani Simon texted the babysitter and said, Quentin won't be coming today. The boyfriend then went to work, and his statement was, I saw the child before I went to work at 6 a.m. If the affidavit is right and the police's theory is right, and Leilani Simon killed Quentin and dumped him in the dumpster at 1 a.m., that means the boyfriend lied when he said he saw him at 6 a.m., unless he really saw him at 6 a.m. And if that's the case, that means the boyfriend is the only person that saw Quentin that morning. So in my opinion, when Leilani Simon woke up at 9 a.m., if she wasn't the one that dumped him the night before, the boyfriend probably did it that morning. But in my reality and my honest opinion, I believe the night before there was a drug, they were high, whatever, they weren't paying attention to the child somehow hurt himself, maybe drowned, whatever the situation, but whatever, he died, and then these motherfuckers high were like, oh shit, we gotta throw this baby in the dumpster. So they came up with this dope fiend story, and I think ultimately that's probably what happened. Do I think Leilani Simon, and a lot of you are like, how can a mother throw their baby in the dumpster? Yeah, I don't think you understand dope fiends and drug addicts and the fear of prison. You guys act like people, and you guys even act like yourselves. You would just turn yourself in. That's dumb. Most people, when they know they are fucked up or something has went wrong, they're going to do whatever it takes to not go to jail. Because at this time, and you're like, well, how would Quentin get justice, baby? There is no such thing as justice for dead motherfuckers. You understand? Like, if she would have went and immediately turned herself in and said, guys, this happened, it's not like Quentin would have popped up from the dead and said, I'm home. No. At the end of the day, once you're in this situation, you have to do whatever it takes to get out of this situation. That's human nature. Never in life is turning yourself into the police a smart move, a good idea, or somehow bringing justice to the dead motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the dead motherfucker can't, people are like, we need justice for Kaylee Gonzalez. Kaylee wouldn't know. Kaylee's gone. She don't give a fuck. Kaylee Gonzalez doesn't give 2 fucks if you convict Brian Kohlberger. Quentin Simon doesn't give 2 fucks if you convict and send to jail Leilani Simon. That's just something for other people. That whole justice thing is just something for you snack-dwelling motherfuckers. That's it. The dead people don't know or not know if justice was served or not, because justice is all subjective. It's not a real thing. Justice isn't real. It's just something y'all made up. So let me just say this. No, she would have been dumb to go turn herself in, but she was also dumber by coming up with a dumbass excuse and not really covering her tracks well. But I don't think it makes her a murderer. Well, if she didn't do nothing wrong, why didn't she go to the police? Look, she did do something wrong. She was clearly high. And by the way, neglect of a dependent causing death is a charge. It's a real thing. I'm not about, if I do something wrong, I'm not about to go do no jail time so you feel justice. I'm going to try to get away. If I snapped and killed everybody in my house right now, you ain't going to know. And by the time you know, I'm gonna be Brian Laundrie and it the fuck up. You'll be telling that story after I'm gone. In my life, I've done my share of crime. And not once have I turned myself in, and not once would I. You gotta be a dumb motherfucker or black to sit here and film your crimes and tell on yourself, yo, I'm banging for my set, yo. Live stream Instagram. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. You have to be completely stupid. I had a warrant and went on the run for 4 years. And you know when I got caught, I got less time than I would have got had I turned myself in immediately. All that, well, you're making it worse on yourself by running. No, you're not at all. The further you get away from the crime in the case, there's no more victims, people forget. You're actually wrong. Running is the best option. Then turning yourself in is the best option. There's people that's never been to jail say. You'll make it easy on yourself if you tell on yourself. No, you won't. And you're a goddamn cream-filled dummy if you believe that. Who the fuck told you that telling on yourself makes it better? Oh, the police told you that? Oh, gee, I wonder why. You guys weren't very bright. I do believe Leilani Simon will be found guilty here, though. I do not believe she's guilty of murder, though. And they gotta tell us what murder weapon did what. They gotta tell us how she murdered Quentin Simon. Right now, all I see is probably a neglectful mother that tried to cover it up. Her neglect, her mistake. Let me know what you guys think, though. Let me know. I'm very interested. And please, like I said, if you're not one of those women that I showed you earlier, prove me wrong. If you guys like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Show some love. Join the Gun Squad today. I will be streaming a lot for you guys coming up, and hopefully you guys make it worth it for me over here. But I will be giving you 2 more videos today, and it looks like this Quentin Simon trial will be starting pretty soon. Love you guys. Peace out.